Yo, what's up? What's happening, everybody? This is a live video here on January 20th, and wanted to get in an update um, about Adrian the Problem Broner, AB, about billions, always boxing, or whatever the abbreviation is supposed to be. Um, that earlier we, did talk about, he was supposed to be returning to the ring and it was supposed to be scheduled for February 13th, and that the fight was supposed to be against Pedro Campa. That was the initial agreement for Adrien Broner to fight Pedro Campa. And now, after Campa has contracted COVID-19 and is out of that bout, now it looks like Adrien Broner is looking for an opponent. And not only that, it won't be on February 13th. It will be scheduled for February 20th. Yep, that's right, February 20th. Now, thing about that is, yeah, February 20th is supposed to be the time when Miguel Burchelt and Oscar Valdez are going to be fighting on ESPN. Looks like ESPN is what it may be scheduled for. So that would be that main event over in Las Vegas for that WBC super featherweight title. But now Adrien Broner and the planned event for Adrien Broner is going to be moved over to February 20th, and he's looking for an opponent. I mean, like I said, you don't have Pedro Campa there available. So what else is out there, man? Maybe he could find some opponent that is out there at 140 pounds. I mean, that's where he is campaigning in at 140 pounds. I know that there was that whole talk about him, getting in the ring against Ivan Redkach, but that didn't necessarily happen. And now, with Ivan Redkach, he's basically campaigning north of 140 pounds right now. I don't think he's going to be able to get down to that 140 within 4 weeks. So now you got something where he's Broner is looking for an opponent within a 4 week time period. That have somebody that could be ready to go within 4 weeks. That is kind of what is the slate going on, man. And it looks like there may be a couple of fighters that may be out there as far as like possible opponents for Adrien Broner. Subriel Matias has kind of like been suggested, but I'm like, nah, you don't want to have somebody like Subriel Matias as being a guy that could be his potential opponent there. There was, also another fighter that was, kind of like in there with as a potential opponent for Adrien Broner, man. And that's the thing is it was supposed to be a it's one of those young contenders out there that's at 140 pounds. And I think he had like a few fights out there or what it was. So you had I guess it was like something where he, instead of fighting Pedro Campa, that he could be, potentially facing somebody, like a, let me see, Michelle Rivera, and that was kind of like the potential opponent that would be suggested for Adrien Broner. That was last week, but hadn't had anything really materialized yet, or at least they haven't announced it as of yet, as far as like him having a opponent for him to step in the ring against on February 20th. If that is going to be the fight date that they're going to have Adrien Broner in the ring as, and it will be, shown on Showtime. And like I said, it would be at the same time as that WBC super featherweight title fight between Miguel Berchelt and Oscar Valdez. So uh, you have AB, Adrien Broner, about billions. They're back in the ring, after what has been a little bit over 2 years outside the ring, as his last fight was against Manny Pacquiao in July of 2019. So, I think that, with him kind of like being at 140 pounds, he says that he was determined to just get down to 140 and stay there at 140. And now he's going to, try to do his thing there at the lightweight division. So um, we got to see how that, materializes with that. So, I mean, that's kind of like what we got for, Adrien Broner. Now, you also have, as part of this particular fight card, you got Robert Easter Jr., who was the former lightweight champion there, Robert Easter Jr., and he is also returning to the ring. This is, through um, Mike Coppinger, that Robert Easter could be fighting against Ryan Martin. Ryan Martin is there at 24-1 with 14 KOs. But we'll see if that is going to actually be the case there. I mean, we haven't seen Robert Easter since late 2019 when he fought Adrien Granados, won a unanimous decision over Adrien Granados. A lot of people do point to his fight against Francis Barthélemy, which ended up in a draw, and that was supposed to be a unified lightweight title fight. Um, and both of those guys had very lethargic performances, and that ended up being a draw. So, didn't think that a lot of people had really clamored to see Robert Easter Jr. in the ring anytime soon. So, what you got there is something to the point where um, it's going to be a tough out for Robert Easter Jr. to make an impression on boxing fans after that. Shout out to 1-2 Kid in here. He says that 140, that may be tough for Adrien Broner. Well, I mean, he's, kind of like stated over the past month and a half that he will be there at 140 pounds, that he's working to get down to that particular weight, that he's not, doing fights at 147 pounds anymore. And so he'll be campaigning at 140. And, there are a few fights that can happen there at 140 pounds. So that would be the thing, is that uh, what would Adrien Broner do as far as like his career path at 140? There are a few fights that can be made there, at 140. So my thing has been, for him to kind of like, do his thing there at 140. Um, and, we'll see like how he's going to be able to, like, I would say, get some attractive fights at 140 pounds. I mean, you do have a few guys that are out there, like Regis Prograis is out there. at 140 pounds. I know that the two world champions at 140 are under top rank, so he might not be able to get something there, but we could have something against like I said, against maybe a Barthélemy who's moved up to 140. And there's like a few other guys that he could probably work out to get fights at. Like I said, if he's not able to fight Subriel Matias at 140 here in this next fight, that also is a potential opponent for him there at super lightweight. Um, I know that it won't be Cowboy Carl there, but he got also, I think it's Mario Barrios, who has the WBA regular title at 140, and I think Barrios is one fighter that was part of, I think it was the Tank Davis, Leo Santa Cruz card, where he fought and knocked out Cowboy Carl, where it was a whole bunch of cuts that were suffered in that particular fight, but he was still able to stop Ryan Carl and be able to defend that WBA super lightweight title there. Of course, that the super champion there at super lightweight is Josh Taylor, but still, you could have Adrien Broner win a version of a world title at 140 pounds. Now, as far as like finding the likes of a Josh Taylor or a Jose Ramirez, that's kind of a little far fetched. Like I said, you got somebody that's under Heyman boxing, and then Josh Taylor is there, affiliated with Top Rank, or Ramirez, who's fully affiliated with Top Rank. That fight, may be difficult to get made unless there was a lot of money involved. Now, Taylor ends up fighting Jose Ramirez and ends up beating Ramirez, then you would get something where Taylor could, really get a very good amount of money to fight Adrien Broner, especially if they were able to pull off something with the crowd um, over in the UK side or something there for Josh Taylor. But outside of that, still got to have a few things that need to be considered when it comes to Adrien Broner fighting 140 pounds. So that's mainly what I had in reference to Broner, just going back on that. But like I said, with Robert Easter Jr., like I said, he did have his fight against Adrian Granados after fighting Francis Barthélemy, and that was actually, that particular fight was at 140. So him having his next fight, which was kind of like suggested out there, is we have to see like if that fight materializes. Therefore, Robert Easter Jr. too. So you have Robert Easter who might face Rand Martin. Like I was saying before, he might face Ryan Martin, and that is what I would say pretty good, because actually Ryan Martin's also there at 140 pounds, campaigning around that particular range. Like I said, he did have one loss, was by stoppage there to Josh Taylor, who I mentioned is a unified champ. So this guy here in Ryan Martin beat British Prescott before going up against Josh Taylor. And so with him being a potential opponent for Robert Easter Jr., that might be a pretty interesting type of fight. I mean, Ryan Martin is kind of tall there, as so like Robert Easter. Robert Easter's pretty tall at 5'11", and so is Ryan Martin. Both fighters there at 5'11". So you could have something where you have the likes of a Robert Easter Jr. versus Ryan Martin, and those guys could kind of like um, be able to have a good little scrap, hopefully, if that fight does take place. So that's what I'm kind of like looking at or looking for in this particular fight card, and the co-feature bout would be Otto All-In Wallin versus Dominic Brazil. And like I said, that is a good fight there at heavyweight. Otto Wallin versus Dominic Brazil. Two heavyweights. One that was a former WBC mandatory challenger in Dominic Brazil, and Otto Wallin, who did face Tyson Fury, and gave Tyson Fury a tough out. But then also after that particular fight, he was able to be part of, I guess, the PBC circuit, and after he was able to get in that PBC circuit, he was able to score a win there, getting a stoppage victory, and after getting that stoppage victory over Travis Kaufman, then he was kind of like seeing if he could campaign against those other heavyweight fighters there, and this would be one of them, and Dominic Brazil. So that's what I'm, kind of like looking for in that fight card if it does materialize February 20th. Like I said, Adrien Broner out there looking for an opponent, and you also have Robert Easter Jr., who may be involved in this fight card, against Ryan Martin, and like I said, Otto Wallin versus Dominic Brazil. So, that's what I'm looking at. Adrien Broner is still trying to find an opponent. Who knows who that opponent will basically be? And with that being said, that's what I got as far as like this particular topic. Like I said, I'm gonna see if we have some more news and notes that's going to be going down. That we're going to talk about here on this particular channel. Just wanted to get myself in there as far as like Adrien Broner. There's a lot of people that kind of feel like he's on the downturn of his career, that he really doesn't have maybe that much left, but he's what, 26 years old or something like that. So somebody in Adrien Broner who's there, of course he's in a multi-division champion, man, but we still could have a lot left out there in his career, man. I mean, he's like I said, man, he's out there. He pretty much like what? Yeah, still has a lot left. So even though he's been, what has it been, like 38 professional fights, or 30 professional fights or so, but after all that, it's kind of still a couple of things left that he could do. So that's what I'm looking at here for Adrien Broner, man. With that being said, want to just get back at it. Right now this is kind of like a live session, reaction session here. So know that you got these fights going on right now at this particular point on Showtime. So that's what I got here, and we'll have some more on this particular YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. And on that note, folks, I'm out. Peace.